Keanu Reeves stepped into an upscale restaurant nestled in the heart of the city, his attire noticeably simple: wrinkled jeans, a plain shirt, and a comfortable jacket that spoke of practicality rather than extravagance. He looked like someone coming from an ordinary day, a stark contrast to the glimmering crystal chandeliers that bathed the room in a soft glow. He moved toward a discreet table, clearly aiming to blend in. But before he could even place an order, a waitress intercepted him. Her eyes narrowed, her posture stiff with condescension. "Are you sure you can afford to be here?" she quipped, her voice laced with irony loud enough to turn heads. What followed stunned every patron in the restaurant and revealed a truth no one expected. Before diving deeper into this story, let us know where you're reading from. If you love stories like this, don't forget to follow the page. We've got another special tale coming your way tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. The Lumiere restaurant was the epitome of sophistication, a jewel of Beverly Hills situated on a prestigious avenue. Its grand windows frame views of streets adorned with neon lights and luxury cars cruising leisurely by. Inside, every detail, from the polished marble floors to the meticulously curated table settings, screamed exclusivity. Lumiere wasn't merely a dining spot. It was a stage for the elite to see and be seen. Ashley, one of Lumiere's senior waitresses, strode confidently across the dining room, her every step deliberate. Her neat bun and perfectly tailored uniform reinforced her aura of professionalism. To Ashley, working at Lumiere was more than a job. It was a status symbol she flaunted whenever the opportunity arose. But Ashley had a flaw, an inflated sense of superiority. She had a knack for sizing up patrons at a glance, mentally filing them into categories based on their attire and demeanor. Her silent mantra: "Some people just don't belong here." The glass door of the restaurant glided open, and a man stepped inside. His outfit, a pair of scuffed jeans, a plain shirt, and a nondescript jacket, was unassuming. He carried himself with quiet confidence, his presence understated. It was Keanu Reeves. Yet Ashley, preoccupied at the reception desk handling a VIP reservation, didn't recognize him. She paused mid-conversation when her eyes landed on him. Her expression turned into one of thinly veiled disdain as she scanned him from head to toe. "Good evening," she greeted tersely, her forced smile vanishing almost immediately. "How can I help you?" "I'd like a table, please," Keanu replied with calm politeness. Ashley raised a skeptical brow, her expression incredulous. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This is a very exclusive restaurant," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. Unperturbed, Keanu nodded. "Yes, this is the place." Ashley scoffed softly, shaking her head as if the request were absurd. "Give me a moment. I'll need to check something." She stalked off to the reception office, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. With exaggerated theatrics, she typed his name into the reservation system. When nothing appeared, she rolled her eyes and returned to the dining area. "As I suspected, you don't have a reservation," she announced loud enough for nearby diners to hear. "We do have some tables available, but just so you know, this isn't a casual dining spot." Keanu remained unfazed. "I'd still like to dine here," he replied simply. Ashley sighed dramatically, snatching a menu from the stand. "Fine, but I'll need to seat you in a more suitable area. Follow me." Without looking back to see if he followed, she led him briskly across the room. Instead of seating him where the warm light of chandeliers accentuated the elegance of the space, she took him to the farthest, dimmest corner of the restaurant. The table was tucked near the kitchen, where the clatter of dishes and muffled conversations from the staff disrupted the ambiance. "Here you go," she said curtly, tossing the menu onto the table with a loud thud. "This table should suit you. It's private." Keanu glanced at the table, then at Ashley, his faint smile never wavering. "Thank you," he said, his tone steady. "I'm sure this will be an interesting experience." As Ashley walked away, she muttered under her breath, ensuring it was loud enough for a nearby couple to hear. "He won't last 5 minutes. Bet he'll leave as soon as he opens the menu." Across the room, Keanu opened the menu with deliberate calm, his serene demeanor intriguing those watching. The live music played on, but something about him suggested that no amount of arrogance or judgment could rattle him. The restaurant Lumiere was a haven for refined dining, known for its elegance and exclusivity. It was the kind of place where appearances mattered, and those who walked through its doors often reflected that sentiment. On a quiet evening, Keanu Reeves entered the establishment, dressed modestly, his calm demeanor at odds with the opulent surroundings. "Thank you," he replied softly to Ashley, the hostess, as she led him to a table in a prime spot. Her expression shifted to one of suspicion, her arms crossed and her eyes narrowing, as if trying to gauge whether his gratitude was sincere or sarcastic. "You're welcome," she replied, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Just so you know, these tables are usually reserved for special occasions. But since we're not booked tonight, you can have it." Spinning on her heels, she left before he could respond. When Ashley returned to take his order, her behavior became even frostier. She pulled out her notepad with an exaggerated flourish, glancing down at him coldly. "Have you decided, or would you like a recommendation?" Keanu calmly pointed to one of the priciest items on the menu. "I'd like to try this one." Ashley stifled a laugh, covering her mouth with one hand as if to mask her amusement. "Ah, the filet de Rossini," she said, her tone condescending. "Just to confirm, sir, you do know it's $350, right?" Keanu nodded, unbothered. "Yes, it sounds wonderful." Her lips curled into a malicious smile. "All right then. Just to avoid any misunderstandings later, I suggest you double-check the prices. We wouldn't want any unpleasant surprises." Unfazed, he responded calmly. "I'm certain." Ashley sighed dramatically, scribbled down his order, and added, "Just so you know, our chef expects dishes like this to be appreciated by those who truly understand fine dining. I hope it meets your expectations." With that, she left in a huff, muttering to herself. As Keanu waited, he admired the decor and the pianist's performance, his demeanor unshaken by Ashley's behavior. When the appetizer finally arrived, Ashley set it down forcefully, causing the plate to slide slightly across the table. "Here's your appetizer. I hope you enjoy it, or at least know what you're eating," she said with a mocking smile. Keanu thanked her politely. "Thank you." Ashley leaned in slightly, her tone still derisive. "You know, a lot of customers don't like this dish. It's not exactly mainstream, but I'm sure you'll do just fine. Good luck." Keanu's calm reply only irritated her further. "It looks excellent. Thank you for your attention." Across the dining room, an elderly man with neatly combed white hair observed the interaction with a look of disapproval. He raised his glass in a silent toast to Keanu, who responded with a slight nod and a smile. Meanwhile, Ashley's disdain only grew, her provocations escalating as she prioritized other guests and ignored Keanu's table. Eventually, the elderly man approached Keanu with a kind smile. "Good evening, young man. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I've noticed you've been overlooked." Keanu smiled back. "Good evening. Don't worry. It's all fine." The man chuckled softly. Patience is a strength. It's rare to see someone handle such treatment with such grace. Before Keanu could respond, Ashley appeared, interrupting. "Sir, can I help you with something?" she asked, her polished tone a thin veneer over her irritation. "I wouldn't want you to disturb our customer." The elderly man narrowed his eyes slightly but remained composed. "Don't worry, miss. I was just greeting this gentleman. It's rare to find someone so serene." Ashley's impatience was palpable. "Perhaps you should return to your table and enjoy your dinner," she said curtly. Keanu thanked the man, who returned to his seat with a disapproving glance at Ashley. She, however, remained unperturbed, her focus solely on trying to provoke Keanu further. When she eventually brought out his main course, she delayed unnecessarily, then placed it on his table with exaggerated force. "Here's your order. If you don't like it, we can always adjust to something more affordable," she said. Keanu's calm reply caught her off guard yet again. "It looks excellent. Thank you at the bar," Ashley vented to a colleague. "He's pretending to be polite, but it's obvious he's uncomfortable. People like that don't belong here." Her co-worker, clearly uneasy, replied, "Maybe he just wants dinner, Ashley." "Shouldn't we treat him like anyone else?" Ashley scoffed. "Did you see his boots? He doesn't belong here." Unbeknownst to her, other patrons had noticed her behavior, their disapproval mounting. The elderly man whispered to his wife, "This has gone too far." Finally, the manager, a distinguished man with impeccable posture, entered the dining room. When his eyes landed on Keanu, his expression shifted to one of recognition and alarm. He hurried over, ignoring Ashley entirely. Mr. Reeves, the manager exclaimed. I wasn't aware you'd be joining us tonight. Please let me know how I can make your experience more enjoyable. Ashley's face turned pale. Mr. Reeves, she stammered. Keanu's calm voice broke the tension. Thank you, but there's no need. I would, however, like to address something with your staff. The manager nodded, his tone apologetic. Of course, sir. Whatever you need. As the room fell silent, Keanu stood and addressed the staff and patrons alike, emphasizing the importance of kindness and treating everyone with respect. This restaurant was founded to be a place where everyone feels welcome. Today's events remind us why that matters so much. When the dining room closed, Keanu gathered the staff, delivering a heartfelt message about empathy and the power of small acts of kindness. Ashley, visibly moved, apologized sincerely, vowing to change. As Keanu left Lumiere that night, the streets of Beverly Hills sparkled under the city lights. He reflected on the evening, his words resonating. In a world where you can be anything, choose to be kind.